Hi, I'm Sarah Bargigian and welcome to your yoga class with me. This is going to be a very different sort of yoga class to the ones I normally teach. It's going to be a restorative class. So you're going to need quite a few props. Incidentally, if you don't have props, you can also do this class. They just bring a bit more comfort. So if you happen to have a bolster, get that out. If you don't have a bolster, get a few more blankets and do have as many blankets as you can, or towels. A block and a yoga belt would be good too. All, again, not completely necessary, but they just do add to things. I'm going to be reading you a poem. I'm going to read the same poem twice because I find that the second listening often drops and holds a few more golden nuggets of treasure. And I'm going to be leading you through poses that you're going to hold for quite a long time. I've actually got an egg timer here, which I find very useful. This is a 3-minute one. Some poses I'll actually ask you to hold for longer. There's nothing to do with deep stretching here. This is all about resting. So it's not a yin practice, it's a restorative practice where you're going to be in a few different poses. We're only going to do about 3 or 4 poses. And the main aim is to rest and restore, not stretch, not strengthen, just rest. So the first one is going to be when you're lying down, either on your bolster or your towels or blankets. So I'm already sort of halfway set up here with my bolster in the middle of my mat. And I'm also going to ask you to use 2 more props, blankets or towels. Put one, which is going to be your pillow, and make sure that the fold is facing forward. And the other one is going to be where your bottom is going to go. And again, the fold is facing forward this way. The fold just being a little bit more firm and supportive than the sort of tail end bits of the blanket or the towel. Then I want you please to face away from your stack of blankets or your bolster and sit onto your towel. And you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. Now this is called Supta Baddha Konasana. If you know how to do this pose with a strap around your waist and around your ankles, please go ahead and do that. If not, just stay like this as I am. Bring your hands to the floor and lift your bottom up a couple of times so that your lower back is really nicely pushed in by your bolster or your towel, and then make sure that your head is resting. Take out any ponytail that you might have on your towel so that this little pillow helps to keep the level of your forehead the same level or even a little higher than the level of your chin. You don't want this. This is not rested. So there is a reason for having this little pillow under the back of your head. Helps to keep your neck evenly long. And bring your hands down by your sides. If having your legs in this position is uncomfortable, please feel free to change it, either by bringing the soles of your feet to the floor, feet wide, knocking your knees together, or if your lower back is okay, lengthen your legs long down the mat. So you've got choices. I really want you to come into the shape, the pose that is the most comfortable for you. I'm not going to put the timer on now. 3 minutes. Close your eyes. Even if you've got an eye pillow, you could put that over your eyes. And really come to rest. Bend your elbows. You could even slide the backs of your hands up a little bit more by the sides of your blanket or your bolster, just so that your elbows are really bent. Make sure that your forearms are completely resting on the floor, so you're not outreaching your arms and having to carry their weight. Let your fingers loosely curl. Make sure the back of your head is resting in a comfortable central position. And then just be. There's no meditation here, there's no pranayama. Let your breath be easy, be comfortable. Having said that, if you do find your mind is wandering away and you're thinking about things that make you feel stressed, then do follow your breathing in a very gentle, comfortable way. You could even say to yourself, breathe in and breathe out. Maybe you only need to do that a few times and then you can drop down and rest a little more. Just being still here in the way that you would in Shavasana is not necessarily easy. We're programmed to do, to go from task to task. And letting that all go can feel quite unnatural and challenging. So accept that you've made the right decision to be here and do this. To give your body and mind the opportunity to reboot, to rest in the way that cats, dogs, all animals know that their bodies need to rest in order to be able to survive, to defend, to fend for food. Having a well-rested, healthy, strong body is paramount to not just survival, but well-being and thriving. About half a minute more here. Make any little adjustments that you might want to make yourself that little bit more comfortable again. Are you soft? Could you ease your body a little more? And then from here, I want you please to, if you've got your legs in Baddha Konasana, bring your knees up. Reach around and undo the belt if you were using one. And then press your elbows down, bring them back so that you can lift your head and come forwards. You're going to come into a twist now. So clear the decks, move all your props off your mat and put them on the right hand side of your mat. I want you to, again, have a pillow for your head as you lie down in this twist. And you're going to have another 2 or 3 blankets or towels for your legs to land on. And if you happen to have a bolster, that in itself will be enough. So put your bottom in the middle of your mat, bring your elbows down and put your head onto your pillow. Crunch in a little bit to the sides of your neck so you feel like you have even more support. Now, you're going to have some options here with the twist, but whatever you're doing, do push your feet down and pick your bottom up and move it a good 10 centimeters, a good 6-7 inches over to the left. Now you can keep your legs together and your ankles together and just drop your knees to the right and put the outer right leg onto your bolster or your towels. I want you to feel that your left shoulder is on the floor and resting, hence propping up the legs. Now, if you're a little bit more flexible in your hips, you can cross the left leg completely over the right. That will give a deeper stretch in the outside of that left leg. Remember, we're not looking for big stretches here, though. I really want you to feel like you've got more support so that you're better able to rest rather than coming into a more yin-like stretching of fascia and deep inner tissues. So set yourself up for real comfort here. Turn your head a little bit to the left if your neck is okay with that. And be with this twist. Having said that, if there are any little more adjustments that you want to make, maybe prop up a little bit more underneath your legs, do that. You might find that pressing your right elbow down so that you can pick up your back right ribs and move them a little more to the right can help you bring that left shoulder blade down a little bit more. Relax as much as you can from your feet, up your legs, to your hips. Soften your abdominal muscles. Soften your shoulders, down your arms, and to your hands. About another minute here, maybe a little bit more than that. And as you lie here, I'm going to read you the poem that I mentioned at the beginning. It's a short poem. It's by Wendell Berry, called The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Now let's come to the other side of that twist. So push down your right foot, pick your legs up, push your arms down as well to help you. If you've got the left leg crossed over the right, uncross it. Pick your bottom up, move it back to center, and then reach around with your hands and move your blanket, bolster, or whatever it may be over to the left. Try and set up this second side exactly, more or less, as you did the first side. So if your legs were just parallel, not crossed over, do that now. Push your feet down, pick your bottom up, move it to the right, and bring your legs down to the prop, or cross your right leg over the left. You tuck the feet up a little bit more, up towards your bottom. Possibly draw your knees up a little bit more towards your chest. Whatever it is that makes you comfortable. Comfort here is paramount rather than deep stretches. Remember, you're setting yourself up to rest. I really try and make sure when I'm doing restorative that I'm reminding myself of that, and even put more props, higher props than I normally would. Bend the elbows, make sure your fingers are loosely curled, that your head is placed equally between your shoulders. If you want, turn your head to the right so you complete the twist a little bit more. Or just have the back of your head on the floor. You slightly lower the chin. Soften your feet all the way up your legs, around your pelvis, your bottom, your abdominal muscles, all the way up your chest to your shoulders, down your back. Release and let go the strength of your arms and the responsibility in your hands. Soften your jaw, around your mouth and your eyes. Just be. Imagine you're in that Wendell Berry poem. You're with the peace of wild things. About half a minute more here. See if you can soften a little bit more. Let your body be held by the strong and very trustworthy and capable earth, the ground beneath you. Melt into it. Now push your feet down, and as you inhale, pick your knees up. Again, you can push your forearms down to help with this too. Uncross your legs if they're crossed, push your feet down and move your bottom back to center. Now for our final pose, and we're going to hold this one for a little bit longer, roll over onto your side and come up. You're going to need some wall space for this, not much, you're only going to need about that much width. So from here, again, clear the decks, move everything off your mat, and move your mat so that the short edge of the mat is in contact with the floor, with the wall. Then, if you have a strap, just put it next to the wall, and if you have a bolster, you're going to place it here. We're going to do Viparita karani, legs up the wall. If you don't have a bolster, but I'm going to show you how to do it without, because most people don't, I want you to use a couple of blankets or towels and place them to the wall very simply like this. Do make sure that you've folded it really well so you don't have any sort of untidy folds underneath that will make you feel uneven. And if you want, you could even put a block underneath right at the front so that you get a little bit more height. But you know what, I don't think this is very necessary. It's a little bit less stable. So if you know how to set up blocks, then do that. Otherwise, just have a couple of blankets. Now, from here, just watch me for a moment. I'm going to sit on one side with one shoulder in line with the wall, then swinging my body, shoulders and head onto the mat, the legs go up the wall. Now my lower back is very much supported by the blankets or the bolster if you happen to have that underneath. Now one thing, you're going to hold this for 4 minutes or so. If your bottom is too close to the wall, the stretch on the back of the legs is too much. So if you're a little bit tighter in the hamstrings, please feel free to move away a little bit from the wall so it's more restful. You haven't got such an intense stretch. Then, what to do with the belt? Well, this is very handy in keeping your legs in place. Otherwise, you feel like your heels might slide, especially if you've got a sort of glossy paint on your wall. So if you happen to have a belt, it's great to make a loop to kind of tie your legs together. It sounds a little bit strange, but this is a very handy Iyengar Yoga trick. All of this comes from Iyengar Yoga, incidentally. Using props not only to challenge your poses, but also to help the pose stay in place comfortably. So I put this just below my knees, not tight, but so that my legs are together and they stay in place. Then it's quite nice here to have the backs of the hands on the floor with your elbows bent at right angles. Move a little bit like cactus arms here. If this isn't comfortable for you, then please bring your arms into more of a Shavasana arm shape. If you've got an eye pillow or anything to put over your eyes, it's quite nice to do that here. And then be still. Soften from your feet all the way down your legs to your hips, all the way up your back to your shoulders, your abdominal area, your chest, shoulders, arms and hands. Make sure you feel like you're symmetrically placed, and reach around to put something underneath the back of your head if you feel like your chin is raised up uncomfortably and the back of your neck is tight. Viparita, karani. When you're doing this, if you feel you get pins and needles in your feet or it's uncomfortable to the point of not being restful anymore, then please come out of the pose and come into Shavasana. In this pose, the blood from your legs does tend to come down more into your heart and brain, which can be wonderful, but for some people, 4 minutes can be too long for that. So please do feel free to come out earlier if you need. But do stay in Shavasana, don't leave your practice. I'm going to read the poem one more time. The second hearing, notice how it might be a little different. I'm not reading anything else into it. The words are exactly the same, but see if any other images or thoughts, insights come to mind. The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things, who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Another minute here. Rest. Be free. And from here, coming out of this pose, bend your knees, bring the soles of your feet to the wall, and push yourself away enough that you can roll over onto your side comfortably. If you're using a belt, take that away now. Just loosen the loop and pull it up and off your feet. Stay on your side for a few more moments here, and please, if you want to, just come into Shavasana and stay there for as long as you want. So if you have time, just pause this class and lie back down again. Or push down one hand and then the other to bring yourself up to sit. Sit on your blanket so that you can sit a little taller. Close your eyes and bring your hands into your heart. Lower your chin so it touches your fingertips. Release your hands, bring your palms to your legs. Lift your chin, open your eyes. Namaste. Well done. I would love to hear how that went for you. So before you sign off and go back into your day, please do leave any questions, insights, or comments that you have in the comments box below. Give me a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe. And if you want more from me and more support from me and to support me, please go to patreon.com/SarahBYoga. I hope that the rest of your day goes really well. Take care.